All right, here we go, folks. Here we go. Number one, it says f of x equals 3x squared minus 3. Find the difference quotient f of x minus h minus f of x all over h and simplify. So the first thing we need to do is we need to find f of x. Let's say plus h or minus h, guys. Sorry. That's a plus h. Old eyesight here. We need to first find f of x plus h, which means I'm going to just take it and plug it into this equation for x. That's going to give us 3 times x plus h squared minus 3. Well, x plus h squared, please write it out and do it. It'll make things so much nicer for you, I believe. That's going to look like this. So we're going to get x squared plus xh plus hx, which is a 2xh plus h squared. Okay, we're going to multiply that by 3, which is going to be 3x squared plus 6xh plus 3h squared minus 3, because that's at the end. That's what f of x plus h is. Now we need to find f of x. So to find f of x, I just take x and plug it in, which gives me 3x squared minus 3. Now we're going to find this little ratio right here, okay? So we're going to take this one right here, which is this guy right here, 3x squared plus 6x plus h plus 3h squared minus 3 minus, in parentheses, this, which is 3x squared minus 3 all over h. So I get 3x squared minus 3x squared, which is going to cancel. I have 4 minus 3, which is 1. 1 minus a negative 3, which is 4. Oh, no, that's not a 4. That's an h. Sorry, that's an h. So I have minus 3 minus a minus 3, which is going to cancel. That's going to give me 6x plus h. 6x h. Don't forget that h there. So 6xh plus h all over h. But then the h's will simplify, giving me just 6x plus 1. And there's my answer, 6x plus 1. Okay? 6x plus 1. That's kind of crazy, but not too bad. You guys can do that. This one says graph the rational function. So they want you to find vertical asymptotes. That's usually what I do as my second step. That's vertical asymptotes. Another name for them are restrictions on the domain. Why do we need to restrict the domain? Because we can't divide by 0. So I take the part that's being divided, which is the denominator, x squared plus 2x minus 3, set it equal to 0 and solve. So hippo butt, x squared is what? Times what? Factors of negative 3, that added 2, 3, negative 1, set each equal to 0, and solve. X equals negative 3, x equals 1. Those are my vertical asymptotes, as long as they're not also on the top. So show and label the horizontal asymptote, which is also known as end behavior. So what matters most on top, that's where we take what matters most on top, which is 2x, divided by what matters most on bottom. X squared, that's going to go to 2 over x. And now as I let x get infinitely large, that goes to 2 over infinity, which is going to 0. So my horizontal asymptote is y equals 0. Now it says show and label the x and y-intercepts. So my x-intercept is where the top equals 0. So the x-intercept is going to be where 2x plus 3 equals 0. Subtract the 3, divide by 2. X equals negative 3 halves. That's my x-intercept. My y-intercept, I just plug 0 in for x. So plugging 0 in for x, I get 3 over negative 3, which is negative 1. So my y-intercept is 0, negative 1. My x-intercept is a negative 1.5. I have a vertical asymptote at horizontal asymptote at y equals 0. Vertical asymptotes at negative 3 and 1. Let's see, there's negative 3 and 1. So this thing looks like this. It goes down, comes up, and goes up. Now the question is, out here, is it above or below? I would pick a value like negative 4 and plug it in to see. Oh, so the domain. Sorry, the domain. We can do the domain right now. That's easy. Negative infinity up to the break, which is a -3. Unioned with -3 up to the next break, which is 1. Unioned with 1 to infinity. Now let's graph it. So again, the only thing I don't know is if it's above or below out here. So I'm going to pick -4 and plug it in. So I get 2 times -4 plus 3 over -4 plus 3 times -4 minus 1. A lot of times it's easier to work in the factored form. So -8 plus 3 is a -5 over -4 plus 3 is -1. -4 minus 1 is a -5. That's going to give us 5. That equals -1. So -4, we're at -1. Okay, so it's down here. So it's down below. Oops, that was terrible. This goes like this. Goes down. I anticipate the other one's going to be above, but I should check and see. So I plug in 2. So I get 2 times 2 plus 3 over -4 plus 2, -4 minus 2. So 4 plus 3 is 7 over -4 plus 2 is a -2. -4 minus 2 is a -6. That's going to be a 12. Negative times negative is positive, so that's a positive 7/12, so we're above. So that means it's got to look like that. And there's our graph. All right, let's do the next one. Here we go. Page number 3. Number 3 says, consider the following polynomial. Use the rational zero theorem to determine all possible. So if I'm using all possible, I'm going to take factors of the last. So -4, the factors of -4 are plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, and plus or minus 4. I'm going to divide them by the factors of the leading coefficient, which in this case is a 1, which is I'm dividing all by plus or minus 1. Great news, when you divide these by plus or minus 1, it just comes out to be the same thing as what's up top. Plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 4. Those are your list of all possible rational zeros. Now it says factor the polynomial completely. So there are, so I have x to the 4th minus 4x cubed plus 3x squared plus 4x minus 4. The only thing is I don't know how to factor this because there's 5 terms. So you got to go to synthetic division. So go to synthetic division. Let's try 1 and see if 1 works. So 1 divides into 1, -4, 3, 4, -4. Drop the 1, multiply. -4 plus 1 is -3, multiply. 3 plus -3 is 0. 0 times 1 is 0, multiply, or add. 4 plus 0 is 4. 4 times 1 is 4, add. -4 plus 4, 0. That ends in a 0, so 1 is one of the factors. So it wants us to factor the polynomial, so 1 is not a factor, sorry. 1 is a 0, which means x minus 1 is a factor. Now, the question is, can we factor this guy, which is x cubed minus 3x squared plus 4. To be honest, I don't know how to factor that guy, and he's not in a quadratic, so I can't use quadratic formula yet. So I'm going to go back to my synthetic division. This time I'm going to do the synthetic division on this one here. And I could try 1 again if I think 1 would work, but I don't think 1 will work. But we can try it again. Drop the 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Add -2 times 1 is -2. Add -2 times 1 is -2. That gives us 2. That's not 0, so 1 is out. Only 1 only worked 1 time. You could try -1. Okay? So again, -1 synthetically divides into 1, -3, 0, 4. Drop the 1, -1, -3 plus -1 is -4. -4 times 1 is 4. 0 plus 4 is 4. 4 times -1 is -4. 4 plus -4 is 0. Aha! -1 is a 0, which means there's a factor right there of x plus 1. Now let's see if we can hippo butt this guy. If we can't hippo butt him, we will go directly to the quadratic formula. X factors of 4, that to -4, -2, -2, which means x equals 2 and x equals 2. But they just want the factors, which would be then x minus 2. And you could write it as x minus 2, or you could have written this as x minus 2 squared and have the x plus 1 and the x minus 1. Either of those answers would have been acceptable. We're going to stop there, and I'll be ready to do another video here in just a second.